What's happening, Pod Squad? Thank you for listening and watching today. Rocking the Tim Hortons, true Canadian spirit right here. Got the Tim Hortons coffee, and the solo summer episode saga kind of continues here, which is mostly my fault because Matt and I were both here this week, which is rare. Last few weeks we were gone, but it's really hard to find people, and I kind of slacked off. I should have tried harder to get someone booked on. But we got some pretty awesome people coming. I'll announce one of them. Todd Eichels has agreed to come on. And if you don't know who Todd Eichels is, go look up Todd Eichels. Love the guy. He speaks at a lot of the pavement conferences and events. So I'm going to work with him. Again, that's mostly me, not Todd. If you're listening to this, it's not your fault. It's my fault. And then a couple other really interesting guests. Matt knows a little bit about this. Started like swinging for the fences a little bit with the guests. We're almost at 100, right? Like 100 pure podcast episodes, not just, we're over 100 like uploaded things. We got like mini episodes and stuff. But I figure if you get to 100, I mean, that's when Gary Vee and Jake Paul are coming on. You know what I mean? Together at the same time. But for now, I'm going to do 15 to 20 on basically what's on my mind and what's in front of me in the past 2 weeks. And ironically, the two stories I'm going to share with you here, which has just a great business lesson inside of it, both happened in the past like 3 days. So I will now tell the story. So I work with a total of four companies, one-on-one. So I work with them on business development, business coaching. So I guess that's my first. I'm already into shameless plugs already because I have room for one more. So if you want more info on that, go to the website, stripedacademy.com, available now. But anyways, two of the people I work with on our last coaching call both had kind of a similar situation, kind of, but with a very similar outcome or very similar lesson. And this is something that I've learned firsthand for myself, and it's a constant theme I hear with growing businesses. And I guess to sum it up, it's when do you put your foot on the gas when it comes to really growing your business, and how much risk are you willing to take in order to grow it? So the two stories are as follows, and I'll use very vague terms because they both listen and I don't want to incriminate them. So, okay, company one is a newer company. They've been around for under 2 years, but they've grown so fast. So they basically like a full service pavement concrete business, a lot of striping, a lot of seal coating, a lot of asphalt repair, paving now they're doing. So this company's grown very, very fast, and it's grown really fast for a couple of really good reasons. But one in particular is the guy who started the business, who was basically running the operations of this company. He's an absolute animal. He's a beast. He's a machine. I would not want to try and outwork this guy. He is a tough working dude. He works long days, long hours. And to this point in the company, because it's a newer company, they've kind of grown it with him basically just hiring laborers. Like there's no like full-time. They've had some people come full-time here and there, but he's like just has laborers come and help him get stuff done. And so one of the things that I've been working on with him is, this is going to work to a certain point. And that's true in a lot of companies. Like you can just, if you're a hard worker, man, you can do a lot of revenue and make good money in a striping business, in a seal coating business, especially in the early days, man. If you're willing to work, you'll make money. So I've been working with him on it though. Like this will work to a point, but then your business will get to a point when the strength of the business cannot depend on how hard the business owner works. Like you're going to get to a threshold where you will either split in half and sonically combust because you're working too much, or you will just hit the limit and you'll have to like burn out or scale down because it's not sustainable and laborers can only get you so far. So that's kind of what we've been working on. And recently he had hired somebody in a full-time capacity, and he was really excited for this employee. Like had experience of all the applicants on the job. I think they had like 60, 70 applicants for this position. Best candidate that he had. Interviewed well, had experience with all the stuff that he did. So he's like, this is great. Like I can see the future. this guy's going to be a huge part of, me not having to work my face off. And one day it would be awesome if I don't have to be on every job site. Well, that person made it 3 shifts, which is no fault of the business owner. It was clearly not going to be a good cultural fit. Probably safe to say that this person who was hired was used to a really large, like really well-established company. And that's not a knock on, the company that I'm working with. Like, his company's great, but just something different, right? And it was probably eye-opening. So it didn't work out. And so on our call, we were kind of discussing, like, again, how fast his business has grown in such a short time. Like, this company has jobs coming through steady, with like all just straight marketing. Like, jobs are coming in inbound. All the equipment is either paid off, or if it is financed, like, they're not hurting for cash. They have cash in the bank. They're buying equipment regularly. Like, it seems like they get a new piece of equipment every week. Job size is getting bigger. So, like, all signs are pointing to, like, this thing's gonna blow the top off, right? Great company. So my point to him was, look, if it's growing so fast, don't try and, like, sell yourself short in the sense of just hiring somebody who just happens to have experience. Like, go get someone really specialized that you could really plug in, like, right now. And, you're going to pay them a like crap ton of money, but go get that person now. And he thought about it, this business owner, and he told me on our coaching call just this week, he said, like, I might just do that. I know on Indeed, he said, I know you can go on Indeed, and I think you pay them like $200, and you pay Indeed $200, and they'll, like, specially handpick candidates for you based on what you're looking for. It's something like that. And I kind of, like, not in a mean way, but I kind of got mad at him, and I was like, man, nothing in this company is broken right now. Like, this is the time where you should absolutely swing for the fences. Go to a headhunter. Like, forget trying to handpick your own candidate. Go to a headhunter, write them a check for like $700, $1,000, whatever it costs, and just go get the person who will absolutely fill exactly what you need to a T without you having to worry about it. Like, you just meet the headhunter, they will go find that person for you. And they don't care where that person is. They could be all over North America. They will go find the exact person you need. And I would say, relative to the size of his company, it's probably a little unusual. Like, we've never used a headhunting service. Probably one day we will. But the lesson and what I was trying to help him understand was, if things are going so well and cash isn't an issue, and you're willing to work, like, hard hours, that's great, but it's going to get to a point where you won't be able to do that. So instead of just trying to, like, kind of improve and, like, go hire someone who might fit, go to a headhunter and get someone who will exactly fill what you need. And ideally, if you get that employee and they last a year or 2, that's great. But often those kinds of candidates who are headhunted will last a lot longer. And you could have somebody who could one day take over the operations for you, so you can just run the company. So I was thinking about that even in my business as I'm coaching him. Like, there's probably things that I've done. I know for a fact there's things that I've done too slowly in our business. And we grew this business very fast, but there's things that I could have done in more favorable circumstances and probably made a lot more of an impact quicker. So that's my first story. The second thing that happened, again, very recently, different coaching client, different circumstances, because this person I'm working with has a very well-established company. He's been around for almost 10, 15 years, I think. He's in a part of the world where the market is good. A lot of seal coating this business does, some other stuff too. And his business has kind of been at the same size for a few years now. It's kind of like stuck at $1 million in revenue. So that's kind of why he hired me, is, how do we bust through that, get in better systems, processes, lead people, and help people take on new roles in the company. So one of the things that I've been working on with this person, and my hope is that as I tell you this story, someone out there listening is like, oh crap, that's me. Because to a certain extent, this is me too. This business owner gets bored very easily. I am someone who gets bored very easily. Like, I hate to say it, but like I like the chaos. I like chaos. I like things that, need a little bit of like, I like the adrenaline of business and trying to make things work. And when things aren't going well, when things are going well and things are going smooth, I don't know if you've noticed this. You're like, whatever. Matt's looking at me funny. If things are going really, really smooth, I get this weird, like itchy, antsy feeling. And it's not from this Tim Hortons coffee. It's like, I just like things to have that little bit of chaos to it. So this person I'm working with is the same way. So because he's been stuck at around the $1 million mark, we had this breakthrough on our coaching call this week where he basically said like, look, I know that I have to get uncomfortable in order to grow to the next part of the business and break through to the next level. I can't do things the way I'm doing it, but I'm also pretty comfortable doing the things I am, and I'm not really willing to get uncomfortable with it. It was a grand total of like 40 seconds later where he tells me that he was not seriously considering, but the day before, he was given an offer to go purchase a completely different business 4 states away. And he was seriously thinking about it. Not like I'm going to do it tomorrow, but like the idea of getting out of the pavement industry, which he's been in for 10, 15 years, and just blowing it up. Basically like, I'm going to walk away from this. I'm going to go purchase this other business. I don't know anything about this business, but I think my family would like living here. I'm just going to go do that. And he's telling me this. And we had a breakthrough on his coaching call too, which was essentially like, if you're willing to do something so drastic, like sell your current business because you're stuck, air quotes, and go do a completely different business because you just want to like mix it up and you feel stuck and stale and you're not sure what kind of impact am I making in this company. If you're willing to do that, I basically told him like, why aren't you willing to do the uncomfortable things in your current business? Does that make sense? Like if you're willing to legit go buy a whole new business and move 4 states away, why wouldn't you be willing to do uncomfortable things in your current business? Because, this business owner and myself are kind of wired the same way. We like that chaos. We like that little bit of like edge to stuff. Well, if you like edge, you can do that in your current business. There's an important lesson I think in there, which is if you're in a pavement business now, doesn't matter how big you are either. Like this, you could be a part-time person, right? I've actually worked one-on-one with somebody who had a business part-time. Like if you're just doing something part-time or you have a large business, but it's not really growing, it's not really adapting, you're just doing the same things over and over again, and you've got that itch, kind of like the first story, like don't just do small adjustments. Like go swing for the fences. Go do something that will make a huge difference or improvement to your business. Now, if you don't know what that big thing is, that's why a business coach can help you because they look at your business objectively and they can help you. So in that client's case, what we have been working on for the past 2 months is you're probably stuck in $1 million because you're doing basically 90% of the sales and 90% of the operations. So I don't really care how good you are, how hard you work. If you're kind of doing all of the sales and all the operations, there's no way you're going to be able to grow it because there'll always be that time struggle between, you putting time into sales and operations. And if the production schedule is totally full and you're also managing the operations, well, you're not going to put any effort into selling. So the company hits this stagnant period. So the lesson I gave when was working on with him was same kind of thing. Like, let's do something drastic. Like 2 months ago, I'd encouraged you to go look at hiring somebody in your sales department or your ops department. Now I would say if you're seriously considering going to buy some crazy business 4 states away, you need to pick one of those and just do it. So what happens though, what's happened to me is like when you run the business, it's hard. Like you get not stuck, but you end up doing the same things over and over. When you hit a wall It's really hard to bust through that wall. It could be a revenue thing. It could be an employee thing. It could be a services thing. But if you would want to grow the business, it will get to a point where it just simply plateaus. And really, really great businesses and, people that I follow, like Brian Hess with the Pavement Group, like even though on paper they've grown it so fast, like that company went from zero to basically $80 million in 5 years. Like there's still points along that journey where his business plateaued. Like they had to do something different in order to break through to the next level. So I guess to sum up this podcast is, man, if you feel stuck, if you feel that plateau, go do something to bust through the next point. And if you have no clue what to do, if you don't know what to do to bust through and get to that next level, I highly suggest you go hire someone. It doesn't have to be me. Just go hire someone to help you do it. Preferably someone who's already done the thing that you're trying to do. So that's my advice. What do you think of that? Thumb up for Matt. It is so warm in here again. I'm like, oh, shouldn't have brought coffee. So I actually wrote notes just to wrap this up. Some things that I learned from those stories. So number one, and this is really important, but like you have to be like abundantly clear on why your business exists and where do you see it going in 5 to 10 years. So what I mean by that is like, if your business is kind of stuck now, like there's someone in our market who has a completely different business. He's a good friend of mine who has, I'm not going to say, just some sort of local service business. And he's grown it really fast and he's kind of like capped that service in this market because it's a residential type service and there's really not much more room to grow. He probably could, but as I like to say, the juice probably isn't worth the squeeze. It would take a lot of money to market and just, he's kind of done really well. So he's at a point where he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do next. Like I might take this business and go start a whole new location somewhere else in the province, or I might just start looking at other services in order to break through. And he was recently asking me, like, I don't know what he asked me, like, what do you think? And I was like, I can't answer that because I mean, if you see your business in 5 to 10 years, like dominating the Prince George residential service market, then you should put all of your eggs and all of your ambitions into that basket. But if you have the itch where you see yourself taking this existing business, and this happens a lot with seal coating and striping, like if you're doing so well in your market and you want to go put that into other locations, well, then don't get like dragged down by trying to add other services. Just get hyper focused on how quickly and how fast can we take this one location of what we do and go put it in 3 other locations. But you only get that if you know exactly what your business is trying to do. So you'd be surprised how many business owners, like I've chatted with quite a few who just don't really know what they want in 5 to 10 years, which is understandable because they're so busy growing this business. They don't stop. They don't have the time to stop to just think about like, this is the broad picture of where I'm going. So think about that first. Number 2, kind of just to sum up the stories, I guess. I don't know why I wrote this down, but there will be times when you need to take like massive action in your business. Something I wrote about recently, I think I even mentioned this on the podcast a couple weeks ago too, was for me, it was hiring. Like I was right from the very beginning of this business, I was slow to hire. Man, my first employee, like it killed me trying to hire this person because I was in agony over it. But what I've learned now, especially, is like every key hire that we've made, especially in the past year, I regret not doing it sooner. Like I waited and waited and waited, got great people, but I should have done it a lot sooner. So don't be afraid to take massive action to bust through the next level. And then number 3 is my favorite one. If you are a chaos-minded person like me, I like a little bit of, carnage in the business. That's fine. But go make that chaos in a positive way in your current business. Like it almost sounds like, again, I really hope someone listens to this and understands this, but you might think, well, if I enjoy like a lot of growth and fast growth and chaos and carnage, why wouldn't you just do that in the business you have now? But you'd be surprised like how hard it is to do that. When you have like employees that you don't want to let them down, you don't want to like cause something bad to happen, or you don't want to like replace someone. Like that was a big thing for us, was like the person that I was slowly training to become the operations manager at this company. I realized like, dude, it's going to take me like probably 2 to 3 years just to train him to take over the operations. That's at our current size, because I don't know how to run an operations of this size company. So it's going to be really hard for me to train him. So the massive action in that case was, let's go bring in somebody who has this experience, who then could then help the rest of the people underneath in the operations department learn that skill along the way. So those kinds of like, you know, large decisions, making a little bit of chaos in your business, do it in your business and don't try and find the shiny objects. Like it's crazy to me how many striping companies start doing crazy, ridiculous services like asphalt paving when they haven't even begun to really scratch the surface of how good they could be at their core service. I don't know what the comparison would be for you, Matt. Like, I don't know. Wedding photographers who go into like something, help me out here.
Action sports, I guess.
Yeah, action sports. Well, so you kind of do both though.
Yeah.
But you're like like just figuring it out. You're just getting going.
Yeah.
You'll be working at Red Bull.
Started doing video like the last year.
Nah, there you go. You'll be working at Red Bull in like a year or so, whatever. Someone from Red Bull's listening to this and they're like, I'm gonna hire that Leslie guy. Yeah. All right, 21 minutes. It's hot in here. I'm gonna wrap it up. But in summary, don't hesitate to take massive action to break through to the next level. Make sure you're crystal clear on where you're going. And if you're like me, if you're like the two people I described in my stories there, my coaching clients, like if you like that little bit of chaos and you like the little bit of carnage, that's okay. Just do it in your business in a calculated way. And if you're willing to take some big risks, that's how companies can grow really fast, really quickly. So hopefully you like that. I'm going to finish the rest of this delicious, probably now cold, Tim Hortons coffee, and keep your stripes hot. Talk to you next week. Flip, it's warm in here.